Hello once again, welcome to my show, The Diva Show, live on TV3. Of course, we've had quite an interesting week following that press conference at the GFA, and the GFA officials and the coach said a lot of things. Some journalists were outraged, others felt that to some extent they had addressed certain critical issues, others had certain boggling questions to ask, and I thought some of the questions that were asked were rather dumb. I think sometimes you feel that we are lowering the standards of journalism in Ghana. Some of the questions were just not shouldn't have been asked. Well, we'll get into the details. This morning I'm assembling 3 journalists. Well, the third one is running late, Nat Ato from Multimedia, Joy FM. He'll be here very soon, but we'll be talking about the Blackstars, the GFA, Brazil, our campaign in Brazil, that woeful performance in Brazil, and then we'll top it up with that cherry. That wasn't really a cherry on the cake, the $3 million. Well, the show is brought to you by MTN, everywhere you go, and also Nokia XL. Indeed, it is extra large, hence XL. And it comes in exciting colors, I told you the other day. I love this particular color. My favorite color is red and yellow, but this orange was so attractive I had to go for this one. But they've got very, very awesome, attractive, exciting colors, and they call it the bold, authoritative phone. Get yours. The interface is beautiful. The battery lasts and lasts and lasts, unlike other smartphones on the market. Anyway, you're welcome to the show, Nana Jumai. Good to see you. Nana Jumai works with
Radio XYZ.
Radio XYZ in Accra here,
yes.
And he's also a coach, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you're 2 in 1.
Yeah, well, I'm clubless.
Maybe we should give you the Ghana job.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Okay, and he's joined by Kwame Jumai. He's also a sports journalist. Kwame, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
And we'll be joined by Nat Ato very soon. Were you at the press conference?
No.
But you watched it?
Yeah.
Okay, what was your first impression?
One word. Terrible.
Huh. Terrible?
Yeah.
Okay. Nana, what was your first? Were you there?
I was there.
Okay.
I was there. I knew it was going to be an occasion where the economies of truth would come into play.
Okay. So how would you describe it?
Economical with the truth.
They kept a lot from us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So why do you describe it as terrible?
Well, I think you started it yourself. You said you were not impressed with the questions that were asked, and I'm not in any way going to try and blame the questions or the guys who asked the questions, because I thought from what I saw on TV, I could count more than 100 people in the room. I think only 20 of them had the opportunity to ask questions, and you could only ask one question. So there's always, a chance that if you're given the opportunity to ask, let's say 2 or 3 questions, maybe the second or the third question that these individuals could have asked could have made a lot more sense, if you like. But when you're asked to, just do one, you're thinking, okay, so which one do I do? Which one do I do? And what's the other person going to do when he gets the opportunity? And then, within that spur of a moment, you ask a question, and to be honest, I thought that the questions were not deep enough. I thought that most of these questions had long been answered. We already knew the answers to them, so that if you come and you're asking these same questions here, you're not helping the cause. Because for the 25 million people out there, you do open your phone lines right now and you see the kind of questions people have in their minds. Unfortunately, these guys can't be there. You get the opportunity to be there, and you ask some of these questions that everybody knows the answers to. I thought it, that was not good enough. And then the answers that we got as well, I mean, there were points at the press conference, and I was asking myself, someone is being very confidently arrogant.
I thought so too at some point. Yeah.
I don't have to mention names. You know the fellas. I mean, I was asking myself, I mean, you go in there, things don't go very well. The least you can do, like the players did on day 1 when they arrived in town, apologize and shut it. That's good enough. I mean, Ghanaians will talk for about a week or 2 and then it goes away. But when you come in that confidently arrogant posture, not good enough. Not good enough.
Okay, Nana, you're saying that they were economical with the truth.
Yes.
Would that be because the questions that were asked were not really provoking enough?
No, they were always going to be economical with the truth. They've been economical with the truth for many, many years now. This is not the first press conference that we've attended where there are major issues and then we're fed a particular line and then we go away and we take it like that. For this press conference, they had their usual plants in there who they started off with a lot of the Mickey Mouse questions and it got the thing underway. But essentially, when we talked about, did you get a bonus or did you get appearance fees? They said, no, we didn't get any bonuses. And the emphasis was placed on bonuses, but nobody got bonuses because they didn't win anything.
Exactly.
And they were supposed to go through to the next round. So no one got bonuses, but they got an honorarium. What was it? Nobody knows. The issue of the coach, the last time we had AFCON, when the coach came back, he said, because we plummeted out of that. He said, I made a number of tactical errors, I made a few mistakes, I'm sorry. And they didn't have confidence in him. They tried to get him out, and then the plot to get him out was revealed by one of our colleagues, Christopher Opoku, and then they rested on that, and then they tried to bring in technical directors, which they deny even to this day. But Klaus Tockmuller came to Ghana.
Nobody spotted him.
No,
did you ever see him?
I didn't see him. I knew he was here.
Okay.
We were speaking to a colleague of his who is an agent in Germany. That's what first alerted us to Klaus coming to Ghana.
Okay.
Klaus came to Ghana. And when the Fiora kicked off, then he went back. And that's how you saw him doing a Champions League review or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But he came. And they discussed things, and after that they tried to bring Avron Grant in, who was prepared to come and be technical director for nothing, but that also flopped because it was revealed. Now, fast forward 2014, the coach comes in, he says, I made a few tactical errors, I made a few mistakes, I got things wrong, I'm sorry. And then they say, we got 100% confidence in the coach. I mean, who are they telling that to? Because clearly they do not have confidence in the coach. They talked about, from now on we're going to get contracts for the players to sign. I beg your pardon? And you're a what? You're a qualified what?
Lawyer.
And after 10 years, you just about realise that you should have something that the players sign that commits them to the appearance fees, the bonuses. You've just realised that after 9 years. Well, wow.
Okay. Nana raised a very important issue, the coach. Of course, the GFA confirmed that they are sticking with Kwesi Appiah. Many thought it was a good call. Did you agree?
No.
He should have been kicked out?
Let me put it this way. Kwesi's a very nice person. You only have to.
In fact, very nice.
Very nice. Very humble. Yeah. I mean, you'd love him when you get to meet him. But when you hear snippets from your own players, you call up every day telling you, these players tell us they would never go on air to say those things. But they tell us when we meet them, they are friends. They tell us this dude is not good enough. It's as simple as that. These guys,
when they say not good enough, exactly what do they mean? That he's not fair?
I am coming to that. Mm-hmm. These guys start here. Almost all of them start here. Under 17, under 20. They know next to nothing. They get the opportunity to travel abroad. They learn under top coaches, if you like. They come in here. They see the golf in class. And you're looking at making things happen with their team. They go for training. They are expecting to be taught certain things. They are expecting to watch videos. When they go and see these videos, the coach would go about them this way, that way, that way, that way. When they do that, he doesn't come out according to them. So they would never go on air to say that. He doesn't make it look like he's up there. When you go to watch the Blackstars at a training session, you have been there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When you watch our team at training, when you watch Blackstars games, do you honestly see us play to a set pattern? Watch his tactical changes. Watch the way he sets his lads out on the pitch. Can you confidently say, going forward, when you watch your Manchester United, I know you're a fan of Manchester United. When you watch Manchester United, you see a team play to a set pattern. When you watch Team Ghana, do you see that? when you watch his tactics, when you watch his substitutions, when you watch our approach to the game, when you watch his changes, do you see him as the man to take our team forward? You have the answer. Tell me.
Do you see anything?
Well,
I want him to answer you.
well, he disagrees with me because I agree that we should keep him on. You see, we set him up to fail because we appointed him over 2 years ago. Now, instead of sending him away to Europe to go and do the UEFA Pro license, we kept him here at Pram Pram for 3 weeks and gave him a CAF A license. Now, that license is not worth the paper it's written on, to be perfectly honest with you, because a UEFA Pro license takes up to 2 years. It can be accelerated for someone in his position, so you can compress it perhaps into a year, and then he would be more equipped to do the things that Kwame is talking about. He'd be able to effect positive substitutions. He'd be able to communicate good and valid.
So he's right then?
He is right, but I'm going to tell you why I want him to stay.
Okay.
And he'd be able to effect good technical communication to the players. He would have full control of the dressing room, which he doesn't have. He would command the respect of the players, you see, and many more other things. Now, they gave him a CAF A license, and then they sent him to to Liverpool and Manchester City, which are light years ahead of the senior national team. So when you go there and you see what they're doing, you'll not be able to understand it. It will look fantastic and everything. It will amaze you. But at the end of the day, if you've not done addition and subtraction, you're going to find it very hard to do multiplication and division. So it was a total waste of time. That's what they should have done to better equip him to take this team to the World Cup. And that's what they need to do now. Because Kwesi Appiah, I love the man to the bones, and I back him because he's a Ghanaian. Because I think it's about time we start from somewhere, and unfortunately you've got to experiment at the World Cup and all these other tournaments, but we must start from somewhere and start supporting our own, putting our own in the positions where we formerly used to give expatriates the job. But he shoots himself in the foot and sometimes in the head. After the USA match, he shot himself in the head with a double bore shotgun, because you then say, I kept my best players on the bench because I was waiting for the USA to get tired, and then I was going to bring.
That was a rather unfortunate statement he made.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it was quite unfortunate.
And then he comes at this press conference and he says, Kudu Asamoah has been playing in a left full-back position for the past 2 years for Juventus, and that's why I put him there. Now, the paradox of the whole thing is when he named his 26, he named Jeffrey Schlupp and he named Harrison Affle as 2 left full-backs. Yeah. And then when it comes to the tournament, what does he do? Harrison Affle plays right full-back, Jeffrey Schlupp is sent home, and a midfielder is given the left full-back role. Now, quite clearly from what he said, he doesn't understand the difference between a left wing-back and a left full-back. Another unfortunate statement, but he would have understood these things had they, sent him away so he could learn about the fundamentals of the job. I would still keep him because he's a Ghanaian and because I believe that we should invest in him and build his capacity. But all that Kwame has said, he's absolutely right, and the players have been saying that he's clueless. And I've watched some of his sessions as well. I even went to him, he can tell you, I went to him one day at the Accra Sports Stadium when he was doing a session, and I said to him, look, do you know what, if the technical directorate of the Ghana Football Association wasn't bankrupt, you wouldn't be able to just come out here and just do what you think you should be doing, because they would have given you something that you should do, because they would know the strengths and weaknesses of the team and give you areas that you need to focus on in training. But because it's all clueless, you can just come out here and do all of that. I told him that straight to his face.
Okay. Did you, before we went to Brazil, did you at any point in time think Ghana was going to qualify out of that group?
Yes and no.
The no first.
Yes, because these guys, not all of them, we had only 7 from 2010 making it this time around, so up to 16 of them were going to be making their debut at the World Cup. But you're thinking, a precedent has been set. In 2006, we got to this far against all odds. I recall in 2006, the Czechs were ranked number 2 in the world, and then the US were ranked ahead of us as well. We still managed to make it out of that group. In 2010, maybe you'd say at the time it wasn't the most difficult group, but we still managed to make out of that group. So that if we were Germany, who I always thought were going to qualify anyway, then it was going to be between Ghana, US and Portugal. So you're going to be looking at the individual characteristics and traits of these teams and look at whether you have a chance against these sides. So that if you look at this German team, you're looking on their bench. Who do they have? They have a World Cup winner. They have a coach who can make things happen. Their players may be ordinary, but for what they lack in quality, they have in grit, they have in belief, they have in tenacity. Can you say the same thing about our team? I'm sure going into the game against the US, no one was expecting the US to play that well. Portugal, we always knew was going to be a one-man team. So that weeks before the World Cup, the moment we knew that Cristiano Ronaldo was not fit, naturally you tend to believe that then you have a chance. If Portugal do not click, and from their first game we know...
So we didn't do our homework.
Click. I'm going to come to that. We were supposed to have scouts monitoring the team, and someone advised Mr. Appiah that the US players after 70 minutes get tired. That person is a joke. I'm sure he was paid something to do that. He should have been fired after that day. Because when you have a Jurgen Klinsmann on the bench, we saw the German team in 2006. It was a German team that was being nurtured. Schweini was there, he was only 21. Philipp Lahm was there, he was only 21, 22, thereabouts. And even with those players, never mind they were playing on home soil, he managed to get them to the semis. He's a World Cup winner. He's played in 2 World Cup finals. He knows what it takes to get there. And you say his players will be tired after 70 minutes when they had contracted a former German coach in Betty Vogt to join the technical team as well. Are you kidding us? You didn't see this, and you didn't notice that 1 month to the World Cup, in most of the games that Portugal played, apart from the 5-1 that they won against Ireland, I think, they were not the Portugal team that beat Sweden over 2 legs. You didn't see this. So straight away you'd know that your chances are against the US, against the Portuguese. You don't have a chance against Germany. It wasn't going to happen. I said they were going to beat us. We were even lucky to get a draw in that game. So if you put all this together, then you're asking yourself, did we plan very well? Because if you plan very well, you would say that in football, it's not necessarily following something on paper, as in, or you don't just say we're going to win and we win, because things can change on the pitch. In 90 minutes a lot can happen. But sometimes you have to be realistic. Were we realistic? I don't think we were, and I think that it all had to do with the planning and the approach that we took to the World Cup. With that kind of planning and with that kind of approach, you might say all you want to say about money not getting to the players and that the players
we'll come to that very soon.
We're not motivated.
We'll talk about money, we'll talk about indiscipline in the camp, and also the concerns that were raised, or were they concerns? Were just not concerns. The kind of things Kevin Prince Boateng said in his interview, and then Michael Essien's statement, press release later. We'll talk about all that, albeit very late. Not at all.
Apologies, but you look.
You're always apologizing, and I knew you would run something like that by me. To forget about your lateness.
Oh,
how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I like your shoes. I like your.
See.
Am I getting any of these phones for as a present or something?
Actually, goes with your shirt. Yeah, I'll give it to you after the show.
Okay, that would be nice.
All right. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
And I'm still hanging out with Nana Ajamai and also Kwame Jumo Ajamai. We're talking about the Blackstars and their woeful or abysmal performance in Brazil. We've talked about the press conference already. Earlier we mentioned some of the terrible questions some of your colleagues asked.
Yeah, and you know,
at the press conference.
and it's a very big source of worry. I remember very well that a few months back I had to do a talk. I had to deliver a talk at GIJ, and that was one of the things that I was telling the young ones coming. They were second-year students, and I was telling them that something. The disadvantage that we sports journalists suffer is that it looks like the chaff is always dropped in there. Excuse my language, but the chaff is always dropped in there so that it becomes the last option. But I look at myself, look at the kind of training I've gone through, look at the hands or the feet at which I've learned, okay? And I look at the kind of quality that I'm always looking forward to, the kind of standards that I set for myself. together with my colleagues here, it's very, very disheartening that we go to a news conference and you see all these sports administrators always want to use that as a way of hiding behind a lot of the trouble. Okay, you guys are not even intelligent. You waste our time. You don't ask any intelligent questions. Why should we even give you the time to come and ask a question? It's a very, very big source of worry for me. But I think that as time goes on, all of these things should change, because there's a new breed of young sports journalists. And that invitation was extended to me by Carl Tufor, who's a lecturer at GIJ. He's actually lecturing them in sports journalism. It's fabulous, so that we set proper standards for the profession. I mean, if I look at myself, I look at some of my other colleagues who are doing quality work, and you think that somebody just sits back and goes to disgrace himself and is not carrying himself well. It's very disheartening.
Yeah, very true. Anyway, we've analyzed all that. Now let's look at indiscipline in the camp. The GFA president blamed our performance on indiscipline on the part of the players. Okay. In the run-up to our campaign to Brazil, did you ever think that that was going to be a problem, or you thought that we had a coach who was firm enough to instill discipline in the players, especially in the dressing room?
Well, to the extent that it got to altercations, physical ones, I thought that one was, I didn't estimate it that way. But as for the regular stuff, I'm not training today, I'm not doing this, you leave camp when you're not supposed to. All of those things have happened over the years. The only thing is that, like has been said severally since the news conference, all the time a way is found to sweep it under the carpet, or in quotes manage it, because of which these things don't come out, but these things do happen. So I was not too surprised when I heard that certain players didn't want to warm up before a game, and and all of that. You understand me? For me, the critical question then is that, why is it that we've not been able to get, we can't have a coach who can say, my friend, blink and you blink, move and you move. I was very happy when Kwesi Appiah was appointed, because it didn't only spark a revolution in the way we thought as a people as regards to who can handle our national team, but it was also sparking a revolution in the mindset of the younger coaches, so that they can aspire to that position of becoming Blackstars coach. So that if I'm a young player and I'm doing very well, I'm playing in Europe, and I know that my career will end in the next 5 years, I project that I get a UEFA license.
Did that revolution hit a snag?
I think in a way it has, but there is still a way, there should be a way to remedy it. You see, I think, and in all of this, in this whole episode, one person who's been mentioned severally is Fred Papo. I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a quick one. When Zenith Bank sponsored the four-nation tournament that preceded Ghana 2008, the Blackstars paid a visit to the Zenith Bank head office.
I remember.
And I was there. I remember you were there as well. Yeah. So the players got very comfortable with the workers. They took pictures and everything. And I remember, I think we were in the MD's office, or one of the offices of the directors. And Sule and Essien started playing the role of two workers in an office. So Sule sat in the seat, and he just stretched to the back. And then Essien went and reached for some files, and he said, "Hey, my friend, put the file here." It looked nice and it was beautiful. People were taking pictures and all of that. After a while, I was standing with Fred Papo, and then just out of the blue, he just looks on his watch and says, "Essien, Muntari."
And they got up.
And just like little boys who were listening to orders from their teacher in primary school, they just stood up and followed. And I'm saying, Fred Papo is somebody who eats with these boys, drinks with these boys, hangs out, but will laugh and smile. But when it comes to work, that's it. And you're asking yourself, are these players able to flout rules when they are in their respective clubs in Europe? Because I asked Sule Muntari after that episode during the qualifiers on the Joy Sports Link some months back. I asked him that question, that Sule, are you able to question, when you were at Inter Milan, were you ever able to question Jose Mourinho anytime he substituted you? And he said, well, Jose Mourinho will explain to you. I'm saying no.
Yeah.
You understand me? So I think that we should reach that stage where Kwesi Appiah will say, "Hey, my guys, this is the time to do this. This person is not doing this." And everybody responds accordingly without any questions. Those are the kinds of standards we should set for ourselves in the national team.
Kwame, indiscipline in the team.
What would you call indiscipline? I'm sure for every organization like yours, there are do's and don'ts.
Of course,
so that when you walk in from day one, you know you're not supposed to do this or you're not supposed to do that. And when you do this, you're going to be punished this way or that way. I don't think it's anything different from the national team camp. So that if you don't go by the rules, there are punishments that will be meted out to a player or an official for going contrary to the rules that have been set. So that you're asking yourself basic questions. For example, there's a video that is trending online about Muntari smoking a hashish in Holland when they were training, and all the players were there. And there's even an official, when you watch the video, you can't see the face of it, going to get food, and you're asking yourself, if this is happening in the camp of the Blackstars, someone would say, oh, but a player can smoke and it would not affect his performance on the pitch. But he's a senior player in the squad. What do you think is the message that he's sending to the other players in there? That you can come to camp and do what you like, and nobody knew this? And there are several stories. Unfortunately, some, because you're not there, it's very difficult to say because you're hearing from a second or a third party. And I'm asking myself, if there are set rules in the camp and players flout them, and they know that you're going to be punished in a certain way for flouting these rules, you think they're going to do it? And that was making, a point about the players at their clubs in Europe. You think that for a player like me, how dare you go question or flout the rules at the training camp of an Inter or a Milan or a Portsmouth or a Sunderland or all the other clubs he's played for? They won't do that. I'm not in any way trying to say that you don't respect the guys who manage our team in here. But when they come in here, it is what you do that would make them flout the rules or otherwise. These guys come in here and they realize that you guys, supposedly managers, are... I'll leave it there.
Are indisciplined themselves. Did the players at any point have a point? I mean, they complained that the management team or the team that travelled with them were just too many, 40 of them. What were they all doing there?
No, you see, Kwame's got a point, and I think we all got a point. I mean, they sat down at that press conference and they blamed everything on players who weren't there to say anything.
I thought it was a bit unfair to blame only players. Why, check your responsibilities? They did something wrong too.
Yeah. But in blaming the players, one thing for me came out. It demonstrated that they recognise how incompetent and how inept that they are, and that they lack the ability to manage. I think the example about Fred Papo is key.
Yeah.
Because Fred used to manage this, and all of a sudden he was ousted, and then Kwesi Antechi took over, and he lacked the management skills to manage these players, the social skills to manage these players. He sees us and them. I'm here and you're there. And it doesn't work like that, because Fred Papo saw that we are all here and we're all working together on one aim. Now, the players, the indiscipline in the camp came about by and large this way, wholesale, because they don't respect management. They don't respect management because management have given them enough reasons not to respect them. Those reasons have not been forthcoming yet. Some have come out like, oh, you use every tournament to come and get bonuses for work not done. You use tournaments to come and make money off the back of our hard work, and you bring so many people here just to have a jolly ride, blah blah blah. But there are other reasons as well that they don't respect them, and that's why they could do anything they like, because none of these managers could come and say anything to any of them, not at all. So they brought their wives when they wanted. Their wives come and fought with management about places in the cars and this and that, and they came on the flight and what have you.
So embarrassing, really.
Yeah. I remember that on the eve of the news conference, I was having a chat with the FA president, and I told him, and one of the things, in all of this, one of the things that I've admired about, or that I think is okay or is good, is that the officials of the FA, the leadership of the FA, admits that, look, this is where we went wrong. Now, the difference now is that how do we get these things corrected? Okay, so
but you think they can correct them? We saw this after the World Cup in South Africa. We had problems. AFCON, we had problems. Brazil too, we have problems. Can't we just see the problems ahead and correct them?
There's a thing with winning consistently. There's a very big danger with winning consistently. I'll tell you what, I'm sure that if you go into the camp of Barcelona now, okay, there are big issues.
Of course.
because they're not getting the consistent wins that they're getting, and that's where you realize that, oh, this player after all has been an undisciplined player. This official after all has done this. This guy has
I'm
done
sure even the German team has problems with indiscipline as well.
But
the
wins always have a way of fizzling the things into thin air, and then they freeze, and they're just waiting to drop at an appropriate time. Okay, all right. So for me, it is how to get these things done. You see, we're talking too much. For me, look, we've revisited this issue severally. In the last 1 week, I'm sure that between the three of us, we've had this conversation about 50 times or more. What is needed now is for us to move to the next stage, or the next
and which one is the next stage?
The next stage is doing things physically, putting things in place, implementing the measures. For instance, there's a new code of discipline. And we're all here in Ghana. God give all of us life. Let's see how it's going to operate, or how it's going to work when we start the qualifiers for the next, Africa Cup of Nations. I'm really looking at how it's going to operate and how it will be enforced. Once that is done, then we know that we're getting somewhere.
Okay.
To the issue of the wives joining, I told the president that honestly speaking, I didn't think they got it right with that one. And he said that, look, Nathaniel, yes, I do admit that we didn't get it right over there, and this is the last time this is ever going to happen. But what happened was that they were about to leave, and these ladies were there, coming to join the official, and at that point it was more like a humanitarian job. Save them or you leave them behind.
Did you read that interview Kevin Prince Boateng granted to
the Bild newspaper?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
What did you make of it?
You see, it's very difficult.
Karase had said something similar.
Okay, you see, it's very difficult when I always wish that, if there is an issue between Nanajiman and Kwame, I'd have the benefit of having both of them at the same place, so that we listen to them at the same time. It's very difficult. But you see, you can't dispute anything that anybody says, because there's always that cliche, there's no smoke without fire. You understand me? So there will be some element of truth in there. You understand me? But at the end of the day, what action, the question you're asking yourself is, what action warranted that reaction? What happened before this and what happened after that? You understand me? Yeah. Look, Kevin Prince Boateng, I think, has been one of the most fortunate players. He's smelt golden roses throughout his stay in the Blackstars team. Because now, after all of this that has happened, it gets to lend credence to the fact that he probably was just choosing when to play for the Blackstars and when not to. You understand me? Nobody is saying that there's not a possibility that maybe somebody might have walked up to him to say, Charlie, I know you've received your bonus, Charlie, I haven't paid school fees, so give me some small, you see, and it is that cultural thing of saying thank you symbolically that has translated into this phenomenon within the Black Stars team, where somebody does something for you, gives you that privilege of playing in the Black Stars team, and you think that you should say thank you to the person. Kevin, remember, grew in a different setting. Therefore,
he's not used to this.
Exactly. He's not used to all of this. So for me, it's a very, very unfortunate circumstance. But to the extent that people will stand up to the coach, people will start, playing all sorts of funny jokes with undertones in the background to taunt someone, or it's not a good taste.
Karase, was he treated fairly?
I'm not too sure what you mean by fairly, because for a player in a team, you need to prove yourself, and normally you prove yourself at two locations: training and match day. We've seen him being given the opportunity in 2012. He was with the team at the AFCON. I think he did very well for a player who could barely say more than 2 words in our local languages, and having to play with players who prefer to communicate with local languages, if you like. For him, at best, he would only speak English with all these guys, and in the heat of the moment, a lot of times when you're with these guys, they don't speak English. They speak Ganachi, whatever language. We are told in 2012. So you have to be dropped. I am coming to that. We are told that he is laid back and he can barely communicate with his backline, if you like. So that at some point in Brazil, someone decided, the coaches come out to say that that's not true. And I don't think I've heard Asamoah or Jan come out to say that that's true as well. That at some point he was dropped 45 minutes to the game against the Germans because the player said he couldn't hold the backline. And I'm asking myself, the coaches see these guys are training. They know who can do the job. Maybe there are little details that they would pay attention to that we would not. And at the end of the day, they will decide on who gets to play in the game. Kwasi conceded 2 goals against the United States. 2 silly goals, if you ask me.
His fault?
But would you blame him? And look at the goals that were conceded.
I won't.
I won't. Yes.
Because you see, when a ball bounces in front of
you,
it's as good as...
You're asking yourself, I mean, in 30 seconds, if you watch the game against the US, we passed the ball. And in 30 seconds, the ball was at the back of the net. Everyone was on holiday. They were probably sleeping. That's why we considered the goal after 30 seconds. Look at the second goal that we considered as well. The back line again went to sleep. And then you look at the goals we conceded against Germany and the goals we conceded against Portugal. Would you in any way say that it was a language communication problem? It was because our defense was not up to it. So for me, it's very sad that if it is true that the player could not communicate with these players in a certain language, that was why he was dropped. It's very unfortunate.
What language was Kevin Prince Boateng communicating with his teammates in South Africa 2010 when he was scoring all of those goals?
Absolutely.
I don't think that. Look, I had a chat with Kwarase after
a very
the game,
long one.
A long conversation with Kwarase after the game against Germany, and you could see the look on his face. And this is where we need to work on that boy psychologically. If we know that he's part of our long-term plans, then we need to work on him. Because he said to me, and it was practically like he was throwing his hands up in the air and saying, you know something, I guess that I have to be putting up 100% plus performances every time I play in the Blackstars team to be able to keep my place. But it is not about me. These are his words. It's not about me. It's about the team. We're at the tournament, and the focus, whether it's me in the goalpost, whether it's Adams, or whether it's Kwarase, whether it's Fatau, it should be about the purpose of the team, and it's about winning. And for me, I thought that was very good reconciliatory language. That was very good. He was somebody who was oriented towards teamwork. But look, the young man is worried and he's disappointed. I'll tell you that, plainly.
You were not in Brazil, were you?
I was in Brazil.
You were? Oh, you enjoyed it. You saw all the beautiful ladies.
Yeah, beautiful ladies like you.
Yeah. Were you there?
No, I wasn't there. No.
At all? Okay. You saved yourself some, problems. Anyway, let's cross over briefly to the Nicholson Park at Bema Camp and listen to Nana Kujafre. He's with the TV3 team and the BHC team. We're beating them 7-0. Yeah, we are the real indomitable lions, the real Blackstars. The others are fake. Let's go for that.
In Brazil, we here at TV3 and the British High Commission are having our own fun games here and an audition of the World Cup. I have with me here the British High Commissioner to Ghana, His Excellency James Benjamin, and Mr. Gabriel Bosompem, who's the team manager for the TV3 team. I'll be going first to Mr. Benjamin. What are we to expect today? Definitely England are out, but then your team are here to represent you guys.
Well, if any of your viewers saw Brazil yesterday or France or Germany, that was nothing, because this is the real football, the real skill. We're just a bit concerned that there's a rumour that the referee is also a TV3 employee. We're not sure about that. We're checking through FIFA right now, but I hope we see a good game.
All right. So you heard James Benjamin there saying that the referee is from TV3, but please, the referee is not from TV3. And then Mr. Gabriel Bosompem, you're the team manager for the TV3 team. Ghana is definitely out of the 2014 World Cup. England is also out. We're having our own World Cup edition here. What should we expect?
Well, we are not expecting anything than a brilliant football. Here, there are 2 people who are all outside the FIFA World Cup happening in Brazil. And we are going to let everybody know that, yes, fine, Ghana out, England out, but here we're beating England.
And what do you predict will be the scoreline? Because I can see the TV3 team very, very confident.
Well, I know that we are going to win, but I don't normally go out for gambles, but I know we are winning. The 3 points is for TV3.
Wow. Mr. James Benjamin, you heard him. He said that 3 points is for TV3. Your team have been here since 8 a.m. warming up and getting themselves ready, and your team captain tells me it's a game they are winning.
Well, we're very confident. They came here early to remove the bus that TV3 had parked in front of the goal so that we have a chance.
our coach is not like Mourinho. We don't pack the bus.
Yeah, I know. I hope nobody is like Mourinho in Ghana. That would be terrible. That's even worse than being like Luis Suarez in my book. Because I'm a West Ham fan, so Chelsea, no, that's the wrong team.
we don't expect any Luis Suarez incident here, but Gabriel, tell us, what is the essence of this particular game?
Well, it's all about making sure that we have partnership, we have relationship, and we have an understanding. It's a corporate image. The British High Commission is here doing good work in Ghana. TV3, it's here doing good media work in Ghana. And I think it's a healthy relationship that we can carry it on. And we want to let people understand that it is not a matter of only doing business, but it is just to make sure that we share to society, we share with society whatever the image and good things that TV3 has to offer the country. That is brilliant for all of us.
All right, an opportunity for your guys to exercise. They work almost all of the time. What do you have to say to Ghanaians who would want to come to the British High Commission to do business with you guys?
Well, we're open for business. We doing a lot of commercial work between Britain and Ghana. And we cooperate with the government of Ghana in so many different areas. We're here at Burma Camp. We have a great cooperation on the defence side. I'm coming back here on Monday and to the Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Centre to take part in an event.
Welcome back to the show. Of course, we are definitely beating the British High Commission. Remember, it's free. You need to make your way there. Come support only TV3 and let's boo the British High Commission. Natato is still here. Nana Ajimai is here. And Kwame Jumo Ajimai also here with us. And we're discussing the Blackstars and the fallout. Really, we are going to another tournament. There were calls that probably the team should have been dissolved.
That's not possible. I mean, look, I've heard all sorts of, and I think that as we go ahead, it's very important. The onus lies on us to educate people. For instance, like people suggesting.
I think some of you sports journalists haven't really done us a good.
No, I agree. I agree that some of us have not done, and it's not good enough, So that's why I'm saying that we should educate people, because look, you can't sit back and suggest that the president of Ghana should sack the president of the FA. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. It doesn't work within the rules of FIFA. It's not possible, But for me, going forward, we want to see change that will be implemented and implemented fast. Now, I think that we can make a good situation out of a very bad one, which is this one. The decision has been taken to keep Kwesi Appiah there. That's fine. For me, there are a few faces who need to take a back seat and give the younger and eager and hungrier ones the opportunity to play. Okay, I'm sorry I have to stop you there. I've got just a few minutes to go. Nana, your final words?
Well, I think we need regime change.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we need regime change. I think clearly the management can't manage, and they've lost the respect of the boys. Many of those boys are still going to be there. Yes, you can. So Congress should vote them out? Well, something should happen.
Okay.
Yeah, I would only say we should look forward to the future with hope, but if you ask me, it's not looking good.
No, but I know you're going to listen to my interview with Kwesi Appiah.
Yes, I will.
Kwesi Nyantechi on Joy FM today.
What time is it?
Midday to 2 p.m.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting. I've already started receiving text messages.
Okay.
Yeah, so Joy 99.7. I know your radio is always in your Tuareg.
Thank you very much, Nat Ato. Thank you very much, Nanajima. Thank you, Kwame. You're just stubborn. The show was brought to you by MTN Everywhere You Go and the Nokia Extra Large. Come to the stadium, the park, the Nicholson Park, and watch us beat the British High Commission. And then at 12 o'clock, we can all listen to Natato and the GFA president. Thank you for your time this morning.